Let's talk a little bit more positive, or maybe not positive. Let's talk about election 2020.
How about them Dems?
So election 2020 has been super interesting.
Right.
Trump is doing Trump. He done beat in impeachment. He don't give a fuck.
He letting his boys out of jail.
And he coming back for round 2 like a motherfucker.
That's peak Queens.
Trump also said that the coronavirus was a hoax.
He said that.
For the Democrats.
I think he found a way to attach
Trump
this shit
is
to
wild.
He
bro.
found a way to make the corona political,
He's basically Tekashi 6ix9ine.
But that's politics, though, right? So if he's playing a game,
the impeachment.
If he's playing his political game better than politics, and he was never a politician, I mean, this motherfucker winning. So I don't know what 2020 looking like this year, bro.
I mean, Trump might low key be a genius.
Yeah.
In a bizarro world, perverse way. Trump might be a genius.
First hip hop president.
Look, you got a underperforming stock market. You have a virus.
Wait, no, you don't. Actually, the market last year as it closed in 2019 was the best it's been in years.
But it slumped 2,500 points this week.
Right? Well, that's Corona mostly, though.
That's
powered by Corona.
Here's the argument. Let me just give you the
Buy
argument.
now.
So here's 3 things that the Democrats could capitalize on, and I know that this is not the topic. 1, you have a slumping stock market.
I mean, it is
right now.
Wait, if it's not the topic, why are you doing it?
Because I'm a genius and I'm smart. So I want to tell you smart shit.
Okay,
there you go. So we got a slumping stock market. We got virus fears,
right?
And we have low morale amongst workers in the United States. They fear for their jobs.
This is true.
Hello, Democrats.
Hello.
Let's go ham. Like, use the same tactics that fucking Republicans do.
But here's the thing: the Dems don't have enough.
So cheap.
Yeah, I mean the Dems get in their own way, bro.
I mean, yeah.
This is what I've been saying, though, man. It's like, yo, we don't have an equal and opposite power. If they're fighting with fire, what is our water?
So that's a bigger
like, we don't have a motherfucker like where's like the Jesse
bottles.
Body Ventura that can fucking go and slam, and talk shit to Trump. We have all these fucking professors that want to play by the rules when they are easily and have long accepted they are playing the role of the villain, and the villain has no rules. So we don't have superpowers, so therefore we got to fucking play in the same, sandbox that they are, and that means cheating and breaking rules.
So who's that candidate that does that, right? Because it's 2020. I feel like it's about to be March, and March might as well be summer, in my opinion. Right? If you're just looking at,
damn,
you just look. That's
a hell of a.
It's a hell of a jump, right? But think about it, right?
Did March become summer
easily because you got March, you got April, you got May. It's June. It'll be June in 2-3 months from that, bro.
That's a quarter.
But think about it, right? When is the election? When is the election?
November.
The election is first Tuesday of November, right? Trump already campaigning. He been campaigning since the time he stepped.
Man, I think Bernie gonna kill this nigga, man.
But Bernie, let's be real, right? You think?
Let me explain.
All right, wait.
Hold on, one at a time, please.
Do we really think Barney? Okay, who are the candidates for this election, and how do they win?
So
can I tell you
those two questions?
That's a good question. Yeah. So with that question, what do you think is the ticket? Like barring nomination, we don't know what the nomination is going to be, but what ticket do you think has a chance to beat Trump Pence?
Electability, electability, and influence.
No, I'm talking about a pair.
Yeah,
a pair.
Bernie.
A pair? I would say Barney Abrams. And maybe Stacey Abrams.
Bernie and Stacey Abrams.
Maybe. I said maybe.
Can I explain why he can win easily?
Who is he?
Bernie.
No.
All right. Very simply, if he were to take almost every single one of those fucking people running against him and put them in his cabinet, less Bloomberg, but you could even put Bloomberg over the Treasury, though I wouldn't. You could put fucking Buttigieg as Homeland Security,
like
Warren as either VP, or Stacey Abrams, who gets you Georgia potentially. She almost won Georgia. And lest we forget the 1.4 million ex-felons that are 90% black in the state of Florida, to which Trump won by 117,000 votes in 2016. You put You get 20% of them to vote, primarily who are black, and Bernie talks that recidivism shit. He talks that black man shit. They're going to vote for Bernie. And
You're
I think
not
that
talking
flips
reparation
Florida,
shit,
and boom,
but-
we win.
Ultimately, I think what happens is Trump will win. I honestly feel that.
Agreed.
I mean, we called that a couple pods.
Hold on.
How
Hold
did
on.
we win?
Hold on. Like, stop.
That's
Hold
changing
on.
the
Hold on.
subject.
I asked a very specific thing. I
Yes.
said, if there was a ticket that you can choose, what is that ticket? Who is that ticket? If you
Yes.
compare two people who you think could beat Trump, who is that ticket and why?
I'm going to contextualize it. Here's why I think Trump will win.
That's not the question.
Here's the question.
What the
All
fuck
right.
was
Oh,
that?
hey.
See, that's exactly what Trump does. He don't give a fuck about your question. That's how he wins.
Hold
Let
on.
me tell my story.
Is that some Queen shit? Is that Queens? Do Queens just throw out? Fuck your question.
Fuck your question. This is what I'm going to say.
Okay. Elizabeth
wait,
Warren
wait.
is my president. That's who I believe in.
For sure.
I believe in Elizabeth Warren, and she could grab a Bernie Sanders, but you got to have like a wild warmonger vice president. You have to. Like, yo,
Warmongering
I'm gonna
vice
kill some
president.
brown people today. Yes.
Oh, that's Mike
this guy.
Bloomberg.
So yeah, that's what you need. That's the only way you're gonna win.
All right,
Bloomberg.
so it sounds like we got a consensus of Elizabeth Warren or Bernie as like I guess
Oh,
top
man,
two people.
rude.
No, what do you think,
Um,
Rose?
I ain't going for none of them.
All right, I respect that.
I don't think none of them can beat Trump. That's just
I
what I
respect
believe.
that.
I don't think they could beat Trump.
You know what? I actually agree with that. Like one of my coworkers about a year ago, we talk all the time, and he was like, "Yo, Trump's gonna win this shit again," and I was like, "Yo, you're crazy." I was like, "There's no way." But as the months have gone by, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, "Yo, Trump is about to win this
He's
shit."
Teflon,
again.
bro.
He's Teflon,
He's
baby.
Teflon.
But
He's Teflon.
He's Teflon because he's speaking like he's existing in a world where it's like he's speaking like how people speak online.
Yeah.
Right? So like
Yeah.
they're
Common man
communicating in the
language.
same language. And he's so advanced at it, like all he has to do is show up.
Yeah.
Like, he speaks that like we talked about it before. Like look how many followers
This motherfucker got
He ha-
65 million followers on Twitter alone.
Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Trump is killing them, right? So we got you, bro. We got you. So in my mind, it's like, okay, so we got that, right? Trump, he has out the way. All he got to do is show up because the Democrats right now are trying to reenact what he does, and they're looking
can't
crazy
do it. They
doing
looking
it.
crazy doing
That's
that shit.
true.
You know,
Can I-
Let me just say this.
all right, go ahead.
By trade, I'm a strategist. I have to think about the end result.
Are
I have to
you?
Think about
I thought you were the copy.
Yeah, I do copy. Yeah, but I'm on brand strategy now. So you know what I'm saying,
Bro, but you're the copy though, bro.
well, let's be clear.
You
the-
want to be something that
the
you're
best
not. You're
strategists
copy,
are
bro.
former
Yeah,
creators.
I do want to do that.
The best strategists are the former creators.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because they know how to
Most
write a brief.
strategists ain't shit to me, but
Well,
that's
They
neither
are
here nor
terrible.
there.
Can I just make my point
All
real
right,
fast?
go ahead. Make
Please,
a point.
my
G.
apologies.
Basically, what I'm saying is you have a viral pandemic. Stock market is slumping. You have low morale within the country. Why are the Democrats not capitalizing off this? Because I would do the same fear tactic shit. People
Yeah.
coming from Yemen? Oh my God, they got AIDS. And they got to rape
damn.
their wife. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
this nigga.
but the thing
But
is,
no, but you're right though.
but the thing is, you got to play the same game. And the Democrats
Then none of the
don't play-
Dems are not doing it.
Yo, like the universe has laid out the playground for you. Now you just got to get on the swing.
Yeah, at the end of the day, we just don't have,
That's
in
very
my
deep.
opinion, I feel like we don't have a damn outside of Bernie Sanders that's really electable. Because let's be real, the presidency is all about electability.
True.
It really is.
What does that
Let me-
mean?
let-
But
let-
you know what?
hold on.
But see, that's the point. Electability for that moment in time, right?
Let me just say this.
To your point, hold
Scare
on.
the shit out of people. Make them feel
Wait.
like your immigrants are coming to take your job.
Oh, damn,
Do
you
that.
sound-
But do the inverse, right? You have a virus. It will kill you. Your president is doing nothing. Your president has cut the
Well, yeah.
CDC. Your president has put somebody who's an
This is true.
anti-vaccine
That is very true.
Yeah.
in a role. So why are you not doing that? 'Cause
They
if
do
I'm
that.
Bloomberg, I'm doing that all day. Like, oh, your president can't handle this.
Yeah.
So to your point, I actually think that's an interesting strategy,
great
right? And I think that when I look at presidents from the past who've won, right? Like you look at like Obama, he came out with the whole hope thing. He really engaged with social media and used that, and like blew it out. Then you look at like you look at I was gonna say like you look at like Trump. Trump, he really took a narrative and ran with it, right? Like, so to that point, I want to go back to advertising and what we all do. What have you all seen, whether it's been from a Republican or whether it's been from a Democratic standpoint? Have you seen any ads or positions that have been interesting or that you've liked or disliked or what have you?
Yeah.
Now, look, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I know one of the brothers that don't like, the former mayor. We know that. However, Bloomberg has literally, I call him Bloombutt because I can say that shit. Bloombutt has basically
Mini Mike.
run like an influencer campaign. He actually put out an ad I just sent to all of you guys saying the exact same thing Shadow just said about calling out the president on being against science and this virus, right? So what he's been doing is putting a lot of money into, one, television ads, and two, a lot of things, social influence or whatever. I feel like the strategy is actually pretty good. I don't necessarily think the ads are like really that great, but then again, it's political ads. I haven't seen an ad, in my opinion, since the Obama era that's really I thought was great.
That's fair.
Because most of the ads,
They were good. That Obama team was good.
yeah, the ads now are highly transactional.
I mean, I think I piggyback a little bit off Bloomberg. Like he's come out with the whole out of home kind of experience where I believe Trump was. I forget where he was making an appearance, but like on his road to where he needed to be, there was like all these little ads about like how
The black ads,
the
dark ads,
about how Trump likes his steak well done.
out
Out of home.
You
So
said.
the Trump likes his steak well
like he
done.
trolled him a little
Mike
bit.
Bloomberg.
I enjoyed that. I like the out of home.
They're kind of petty.
But the reality is, it's like I feel like Bloomberg is so disconnected because, like, if you're talking about, like, I feel like people who don't like Trump, a lot of people don't know why they don't like him, right? Check that out. All right, but I feel like a lot of people don't really like him. It's almost like one of those things like, hey, tag and go, right? But I feel like Bloomberg has been such a disconnection because there are people who actually kind of identify with the things that he said Trump doesn't like. So it's yo, Trump like his steaks well done. I know a lot of people,
Jay-Z
not
like his
myself,
steaks well done.
who like steaks well done. Trump, he says, he also goes on to say Trump has been in declared bankruptcy a few times. I know a few people who are paying to actually have their credit fixed and who have gone bankrupt. So you're kind of putting Bloomberg, in my idea, is kind of like putting himself in a position where it's like, oh, it's this elitist kind of conversation.
Absolutely.
So that's how he's gonna lose.
And I don't feel like the average
He won't capture
American.
the
If we're
average
talking
American.
about the entire America, I
you go.
don't feel like the average American is that sophisticated.
Right.
No, they're not.
And just to jump on Rose's point, I think Thousand, you brought it up. I think it's a thing of electability and also great marketing. Because as much as I don't like Trump, I think he has a good team that, like, when something happens, he already has a tagline and it's easily repeatable. Like when he got acquitted, he went with collusion, delusion. It's like simple, but he has the marketing where it's smart. And it's
But that's
like,
why I always say
easy.
Trump is a genius in a weird, bizarre way.
Yeah.
Trump is
Yeah.
a fucking genius.
Yo, real quick. Yo, in addition to that, real quick, what you just said, Tony. Also, in addition, when he was going through the whole impeachment, he said
he looked like a rapper.
But bro, he
on
said,
the court.
"Pray for me."
Oh,
That
that's some
was
rap shit.
crazy.
That is definitely some
Pray
rap shit.
for me.
And you know, black people love saying that.
No, I'm done. No, but that's a relatability
That's a
thing. It's
relatability
like
thing.
People love to say, "Yo, pray for me." I'm like, "Yo, is he crazy?" Yo, I've never heard no shit
When
like
he
this
tweeted
before.
about ASAP, he spelled it correctly. Like he got a good team.
as
man.
soon as
Not
possible,
saying it's
Rocky.
okay.
dollar sign and everything.
Yeah, but hey,
As soon as possible, Rocky.
like
That's some pimp shit, ain't it?
He knows
All
the
right,
market.
all right.
He knows the
You
market.
know, but he knows what he has to do though.
So let me ask another
God
question.
damn.
As far as it comes to like elections, and presidents, Trump is older.
Yep.
Bernie is older. Bernie is pushing, and Bernie looks like he's gaining a lot of momentum.
He had a heart attack, dog.
Well,
Hold on,
shit.
let me finish.
At this rate, in this Hennessy, you might have one too. No, but seriously, do you all think that like I know like in advertising in general, there's ageism, right?
Right.
But for politics, there doesn't seem to be ageism. Do you think that there should be
Absolutely.
ageism?
I think so.
Absolutely.
Within when we think about the context of politics and everything that's associated
Yeah.
with that.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
Fact, let me hear from you.
Absolutely. If you're a public school teacher, your retirement age is 65. In business is 65. But yet we have Supreme Court judges that are literally determining things that affect our everyday lives, and they are in their 80s. So that means they are not only not aware of the advancements of this moment in time via our technologies, via the way we communicate on social and use of the internet, but they are also taking their perspectives from when they were young and things
Right.
like that and applying it to things that they don't understand. That's a problem.
Absolutely.
We
That's
need term
problematic.
limits in the SCOTUS. We need term limits in the Senate. We need term limits in Congress.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a problem. That is a reason that we are still stagnant today. Now, I'm not saying that people need to be pushed out, but they certainly shouldn't be running every year for 30 years and being
I
reelected.
said push them out. No, I just said personally need to be pushed out, bro. Now I'm just gonna say this, right? I think this,
Who should be pushed out?
Supreme Court judges. I mean, exactly what this said, right? Like we got Congress. You can, long as you can win, you can stay in, right?
I think
it need to be a term though, because
I think the problem with Congress, specifically when you look at House of Representatives, right?
Yeah.
So it's a 2-year term.
2-year term, right?
The fact of the matter is, like, you get elected, you kind of work bullshit for like a year, and
Yeah.
then the second year, it's like you're
You gotta
working to
get
get
reelected.
reelected. I think that just the scope of time that needs to be looked at.
I
right?
agree. 4-year terms,
That needs
maybe
to be
as
looked
opposed
at.
to 2.
I think that the Electoral College is absolute bullshit.
100.
Last
And I
vestige
think-
slavery.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Personally, I think we
Not
should
even
use rank
close.
voting.
What is that? Can you explain that a little bit?
Explain that.
So rank voting is like, you know, let's say all the people in this room, right? You pick your top 3, right? And if your top 1 don't win, then all those votes from
like
the
the
top go to the
caucus,
next
like the
one.
caucus,
yeah,
yeah.
and then if that don't work, it goes to the next one. It just allows for the democratic
White people
process.
just trying to find a way to be white, bro.
So
That's
let,
the play out
let
was
me
that.
ask a quick question.
all the fucking-
Yo, let me ask a quick question. In terms of advertising and marketing, do you guys think you've seen any of Russia's misinformation ads? Because I think a big push that came
got on
up in the
Facebook.
news in December was saying that Russia has doubled down on the marketing and there's going to be a lot of misinformation out there. I'm just wondering because I know sometimes people share ads you've seen about Bloomberg, about his racism, or something Bernie's did. So I'm just wondering if you guys think you've seen something, and if so, can you kind of describe what it was real quick that you saw?
I haven't seen anything.
I have not.
I've been on Facebook, so I guess we would see more of that there.
And I'm also just too smart for that shit, honestly.
That too.
Like,
Yeah, you know, I'm not on Facebook at all. I think that I've seen some interesting things on Instagram, and I've seen like promotional stuff for like that stuff that Bernie is doing with Public Enemy, and I think I sent that to you all. And I thought that was kind of an interesting little collaboration or whatever.
Talking about the group, Public Enemy, right?
Yeah, Public Enemy. Bernie is doing something with Public Enemy.
That's dope.
You know, I didn't read it all, but you know, that's neither here nor there. It's in LA and I ain't there, right? So, but I think that it's interesting just seeing like how I look at like a cat like Bernie, who is, what is Bernie, 79 or 78?
He old, bro.
You look 105.
He old.
So yeah, so he might not make it. I mean, shit, Trump might not make it through another 4 years. Like we're talking about people who are older, right? Like we're talking about people who are older, health issues, like whatever, right? And I think that as I look at it, one, that's why I brought up the whole question about ageism, right? I think there should probably be a cap to how old you can be as a president. I agree. Yes. How old you can be as a
cap to how young you could be.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Like you got to be at least what
35,
35, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
AOC can't run for president right now.
she cannot.
Nope.
Can she?
She's not even
Right.
old enough.
She's only what 31.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think that's fair. I think there should be a cap. I think there should be a maximum and a minimum
I agree.
to anything within public office because you're affecting so many people. And to, I think your point earlier, you can easily become so out of touch. And I think there's been documented cases where, like, a lot of these people who are assistant Supreme Court justices, they're really doing the majority of the work.
Absolutely, they do.
Because the judges,
work.
Judges are fucking,
they're out of touch.
80,
don't know.
They're out of touch, like, whatever. So it's like, there needs to be a revamp in, like, our government system holistically.
Yeah, I agree.
I dated a lady who was a clerk for a New York Supreme Court judge. Her judge was 82.
God
so they go do the information. The clerks,
82.
The clerks are lawyers. So they go do the work.
When I'm 82, I hope that I'm on an island and I hope nobody talks to me. I don't want to see.
Absolute
I don't
fact.
want to see an email, a
Nothing.
fax, paperwork.
I don't even want a phone.
I don't want shit.
Yeah.
I want my grandkids to come up to me and ask me for quarters.
When I'm 82, they're gonna see the real me.
Nah, don't wait that long. Don't wait that long.
If I make it.
Here's the end. So the lady that I
we can
dated,
wrap it
we
up
were
after
together
this.
for years. She was a clerk for New York Supreme Court judge. Imagine that. She's making the decisions for the judge.
That's
That's
insane.
what she does. She
So the
makes the
decision making is coming from a
Yes.
secondary person.
She makes the decisions.
so it's not even coming from the judge.
Judge,
He's
here's
just
what we
writing it.
Decided. Sign your name.
He's just signing it in the law.
Yes.
All right.
It was
God
it was
damn.
an 82-year-old lady.
But I mean, that was a case. That's precedent in the presidency in and of itself. Reagan was stricken with dementia by his second term, and they say basically George W.
Was taking care of the
Nancy,
work.
I ain't
And
seen
Nancy
all
Reagan.
this.
Jim
Yes.
Baker, all of that squadron was basically making the decisions for everybody. This is my point: is that one, we need to rethink the structure of our leadership. I believe in, like, say, the Switzerland model, where they have a panel of 7 that rotates the leadership. So basically, their president, quote unquote, is really a panel of 7, but that is the person for that year is the one that will do the press conferences, go to the G8 summit, things like that, and that person rotates. That shit to me is the most democratic. But we only got 2 fucking parties, of which one is slave ownership, and I ain't talking about the Democrats or the Republicans, because it don't matter, because they call
Because they
themselves
want both the same shit.
And then you got the abolitionists that are essentially the motherfuckers that we fight with. So until we have multiple parties, you're never going to have anything but that. And that rule of not having an age limit, it will never be in place because they're not going to give up their power, and they are aging.
Quick question, right? If we're talking about, still on it, lightly on this subject of, the presidency and a Super Tuesday coming up in November, is there any kind of real advantage of black people being more independent voters versus one or the other?
I like the idea, honestly.
Technically not at this point.
I mean, why not though?
One, the Electoral College is still a factor, so you don't get the popular vote. So Wyoming and fucking South Dakota has way more power than we do in New York City.
I only bring it up is
That's
because a lot of times we just give away our vote. Like sometimes we just give away our cachet with brands.
But
the point I'm making here is if we're going to start using our vote with anybody, you almost have to make them work for your vote, and you have a list of demands about the things that we want.
Well, I think that comes back to like having an agenda.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that black people have never really had like an agenda
ADOS.
post
bullet
19
points.
Hold on.
This is it.
like post like 1968 or 65 or whatever. It's like as we've matriculated in American society, like we've just been kind of like status quo. Like we haven't like really fought for anything, I don't think, like in the last couple decades.
Yeah, I mean the
right?
Panthers had a 10-point.
what would you call black? What would you think? What do you think Black Lives Matter is in that discussion? Is that
So I think
not a movement?
Black Lives Matter is awareness. I think it is awareness play. I don't think it's an agenda. An agenda to me is
legislation?
it's legislation. It's economic development. It's it's programs that are benefiting people of color in cities or wherever, municipalities, wherever. Like I think it's an actual agenda.
I know the Panthers had
So
that.
an agenda to me, like I'm sorry not to cut you off, but an agenda to me is like when we think about like this thing that's been kind of like flirted with, like this whole idea of reparations, right?
Right.
How does reparations manifest, or what does that mean, or should black people get reparations, whatever, right? I think an agenda about reparations would be something like, hey, if you are African American, if you can prove that you and your lineage is from like, you know, the bows of fucking slave ships or whatever, part of your reparations is fucking your property taxes when you buy your first house are abated for 10 years.
I agree.
That's a reparation.
Absolutely.
Or your student loans, after you finish your degree, your student loans are forgiven if you finish your degree.
Right.
Yeah.
Like that to me is forcing an agenda that is specific toward an African American experience, and that to me is an agenda.
I agree. And it sets up the next generation.
Right. So to me, like, we haven't gotten to that point yet. I think we did the whole thing like in the 60s where we were like, yo, we want fucking fair housing. We want redlining to be gone.
They want the cops to stop shooting us.
Blackballing, all that shit.
All that type of shit. Like a lot of shit happened in the 60s because there was an agenda and some things got checked off the list. And, you know, Lyndon B. Johnson and white folks were like, hey,
Simple
you know
shit.
what?
Imagine,
Let's get these niggas that so these niggas calm the fuck down.
imagine if you just got an MTA card for free. That changes everything. That changes your ability to get a job at distance where you live.
It also
you
allows
know,
kids to get to school.
Or just
Exactly.
not being taxed on your income.
I take that. I love
Take
that.
that.
There's so many ways to your point, 1,000, that we could have a substantive plan for reparations that isn't cutting a check from the, you know, big pile of fucking money in the sky. But it can be applicable in different ways, and it's a way to just go through it to make sure that you are one of, because there was only we're only talking to descendants of like 1 million people,
But
it's not a big number, you know.
It's not a big number, but when you think about like in Germany, right? That wasn't a big number of people. There were not a lot of people in Germany.
You talking about German Jews?
not gonna
I'm
touch
talking
on the
about.
Jews.
No, I'm not being controversial.
I
Because what happened to them was very terrible.
where you going.
Let me tell you where I'm going. Reparations is a practice that states use to say we are sorry for what has happened to you before, right? So reparations, in my mind, in America, is healthcare, education, is mental health. So you figure out what it is that needs to be done.
Right.
Now, I'm not a proponent of saying, hey, let's just give every single person $5 billion. I'm not a proponent of that. What I'm saying is solve their everyday problems.
Yeah.
And you can do that.
Well, no, I'm not even about solving everyday problems. I think that's bullshit. Like
That's not bullshit.
Giving you an MTA card because you're black, that's bullshit to me. Again, I'm back to the idea of how do you contribute from a community big picture standpoint. So a big picture community standpoint, we know we have ghettos, right? I don't give a fuck what city you go to, whether it's Detroit, whether it's Chicago, whether it's New Orleans, whatever. There are areas of cities where as soon as you go to it, you like, God damn,
You
these
know
niggas,
you in the ghetto.
These
It's
niggas are
intentional,
fucked up.
It's intentional, though.
You know when you
And that's
in
my
the ghetto.
point, right? So it's like you go to these areas and it's like, God damn, there's projects everywhere. Like, yo, like niggas fucked up. It ain't no businesses here, whatever, blah, blah, blah. What if there was an actual concerted effort as part of a reparations plan where you were like, hey, you know what? These neighborhoods, these areas, if you open a business on fucking 71st and Halsted in this corridor, guess what's going to happen? Your taxes are abated for 10 years if you keep this business open. Or if you're in Bronzeville, right? Or Brownsville, I'm sorry, I'm thinking Chicago. But if you're in Brownsville, right? If you buy a house in Brownsville and you're an African-American descendant or part of the diaspora, you don't pay property taxes for 10 years, right? That will encourage a brother who has like a corporate job or whatever, that'll encourage him to come and buy in Brownsville and live there versus going and spending his money to fucking live in Chelsea, right? Like, I think there are so many different things that you can do that to me are very relatively simple things.
But we talked about it before. I apologize.
But I'm just saying, I think they're just relatively simple things that we don't ask for that we should be asking for while these motherfuckers are asking for our vote. And I think, to me, that's one of the biggest things with Barack, and I love Barack, I love Michelle, all that, right?
We gave him that. We didn't hold him accountable.
We did not hold Barack to. We did not hold that motherfucker
accountable.
We didn't hold him accountable.
But you know why we don't?
Because
Whereas when you look at
unprecedented.
whereas you look at with the gay agenda or the LGBTQI, I'm sorry, I might be fucking it up. I might fuck it up. I'm sorry, my apologies. So all I'm saying is, with certain agendas, they demanded certain things and they were given certain things. Whereas when I look at the black community, the African American community, the part of diaspora, we didn't necessarily get shit from Obama being president outside of the PR of having a black president.
Yeah.
Right.
And to me, that's corny.
And he still dropped bombs.
But what?
No, Rose,
Well, Libya
my bad,
got
you about to-
totally fucked up, but nobody wants to talk about Libya.
I was going to say quickly, we don't have that agenda because we aren't thinking at that place anymore. We're not like all of the organizations like the NAACP and the Urban League and things like that. They all collect their corporate checks now, have their annual gala, and give out some random awards to the same people, but they're literally not on the ground fighting anymore. And to your point, we don't have that movement any longer. So therefore, it's not like we're sitting in a room like this saying, hey guys, what's our agenda? What's our top 10 points that we want to convey to every single elected official that comes through? Because now we're just waiting for them to come up with policies and plans. You know,
Agreed.
like Tom Steyer talks about reparations, and so does Elizabeth, and giving, money to HBCUs. But that should come from us demanding it of them, and then they incorporate it and elevate it to a national conversation. That's not happening now.
An HBCU should not even be a thing because people should be able to learn, particularly black people should be able to have an opportunity to be successful. So why you have to put an organization in the corner, You know what I'm saying? Like, this shit's whack
I
to
don't
me.
agree with that.
I love my experience.
But what I'm saying is
I
we
went
don't
to-
need that experience if we have an inclusive world.
I don't agree with that.
Nah, I'm good.
I don't
I
agree with
still
that.
want a complete experience.
I
with black
didn't. I didn't
people.
go to.
I didn't go to one. so-
I didn't go to a HBCU. I went to a white school. Actually, out of everybody
PWI.
here, only one person went to a HBCU here. My man to my left. But what I will say
HU.
is, like, when you look at HBCUs in totality, like, they have produced more black doctors, lawyers,
Yep.
than anybody else.
Yep.
So there is something to that is of value,
Insight.
that I would never want to disparage in any way, shape, or form. And I think that if anything, like, we should continue like to keep pushing and putting money toward that. Like, when I look at brothers like, Puff or Jay or whatever, and y'all
That's fair.
putting y'all money toward shit, why not put that shit toward a fucking Clark or toward a Prairie
And
View
Jay
or
and Jay
whatever?
got money.
Well, Savannah
Yeah,
State.
yo, or Savannah State, right? Like, I see Shannon Sharp every day on that show with that white man,
Yeah.
Bayless.
Yeah.
It's like, yo, Shannon, I don't know what you're doing. I hope he's putting some money back in Savannah State, and I think that he is. But that's the type of shit we need to be doing. All right.